Chapter 10. The Bittersweet Return. The very next day the army started making way back to Bastogne. As they were marching, the first soft flakes of snow began to drift down, swirling in a quiet dance as winter started cloaking some parts of the landscapes in a shimmering veil. Surprising some soldiers that this year winter came early. When they approached Bastogne, whispers of triumph filled the air. The cobblestone streets were alive with the hustle and bustle of townsfolk. Families had gathered to welcome their brave soldiers back home, their hands held high in waves of gratitude. Ruffier felt a rush of warmth push through his chest when he spotted a group of children, their small forms darting between the legs of jubilant adults. Laughter rang clear, a sweet sound of innocence restored. To the men marching past, it was a moment of pride. They had fought fiercely and returned victorious. Memories of skirmishes and echoes of comrades lost hung heavy, yet were dulled by the emotions mingling in the crisp air. Ruffier cast glances at his friends, each sharing the same smiles, lighting their weary faces. Yet, each cheer and cry for celebration only deepened Ruffier's introspection. As the march continued, his mind spiraled back to days long past, moments spent with his family, a warm hearth, laughter over shared meals, the sweet smell of bread baking in the oven. Memories clung to him like the growing snow flurries, beautiful yet bittersweet. Mid-stride, Ruffier felt a small hand tugging at his leg, grounding him back to the present. He bent down to find a child. It was the same one which Ruffier slapped before they left. "Thank you for bringing my mom back." The child beamed up at him, eyes full of hope. For a moment, Ruffier's heart swelled. He knelt beside the child, gently brushing the remnants of tears from his cheeks. "I'm glad you both are together again. Now it's your turn to protect her," he said, eliciting a proud nod from the child, the innocence of his promise warming the chill around them. "I will." As they parted ways, he could almost feel the presence of his family accompanying him, urging him onward. He watched as the boy ran back to his mother, the blissful scene filling him with a bittersweet longing, before moving toward the barracks with a lighter heart. Inside, the familiar scent of worn wood and fading smoke enveloped him. It was almost a sanctuary, a respite from the memories of bloodshed. As the evening deepened, he sat in thoughtful silence until the heavy knock on his door broke the tranquility of his thoughts. "Ruffier, come on," Reynolds' voice cut through the quiet, beckoning him. A small assembly awaited in the barracks entrance. His friends, a new recruit he didn't recognize, and Rassiquin, the priest, along with two officers adorned in polished armor, their presence commanding and imposing. Formation was quickly established, an electric anticipation coursing through the air. Reynolds stepped forward, filled with purpose. "Welcome, men," began Reynolds, his voice steady. "These fine officers will be overseeing your training from here on. Rassiquin here has proven himself worthy in more than just prayer. He's a battle pilgrim, skilled and devoted. And able," he gestured toward the newcomer, "you've shown promise in the battle as well. By the Lord's command, I'm proud to elevate each of you to the rank of man-at-arms. Walter, you'll take the path of the yeoman archer." Excitement rippled through the group, a potent mixture of pride and jubilation. The recognition of their sacrifices ignited a fire within him, arms raised in silent cheers, hearts swelling. "Oh, and before I forget," Reynolds' voice cut through their celebration, "the Lord has been generous and granted you all a bag of coins. Use this to acquire better armor, and consider donating to the Temple of Chalier. Should one of you ever find yourself injured or ill, the temple will take care of you. See you all at the tavern later tonight." The announcement sent a ripple of anticipation through the group. Laughter erupted as they filled the air with banter, but there was one mind that was already calculating. Walter's expression turned to one of horror. "There goes my money," he muttered, eyebrows raised as his comrades teased him about the unyielding burden of purchasing their ale. "Before you disperse," Barden's voice cut through the revelry, "I want all of you on the training field by dawn. We have much work to do." As the officers departed, the group shared eager plans of new armor and equipment purchases. Rassiquin broke away, mumbling something about afternoon prayers. The rest launched into planning their shopping expedition, but Abel, the new recruit, looked uncertain, standing off to the side, unsure of where he fit into the tight-knit group. "Hey," Sigrid exclaimed, grabbing his head with surprising affection. "You're not planning on going alone, right?" Her light-hearted tone eased the tension, and Abel felt a strange comfort in her presence, like a buoy anchored in a tide. "Oh, I'm glad you're joining us," Walter said, pulling Abel into their fold. "Have you ever heard the story of the pantry monster?" he asked, eyes glinting with mischief. The others burst into laughter, while Sigrid threatened Walter with a kick in the family jewels. They drifted through the market, each choosing gear that suited their own style, Rufia opting for balance, convinced that a well-rounded approach brought the edge in both defense and offense. As night descended, they made their way to the tavern. The air was thick with the scent of roasted meats and bubbling ale. Reynold waved him over, and the group gathered around, creating a circle of laughter, shared stories, and camaraderie. Walter's coin purse grew lighter with each pint, but his rich laughter and jovial tales fortified the bonds they shared. Around midnight, Rufia tread softly along the cobblestone, the beauty of the full moon casting a gentle glow. For a moment, he paused, allowing the cool night air to fill his lungs as he gazed upward. Upon reaching his room, a dream awaited him. He found himself standing on a battlefield drenched in the blood of his friends. The air was thick with despair, the echoes of the dead haunting every crevice of his mind. Dead eyes stared up at him, faces twisted in a forever frozen moment of defeat. He felt the weight of their loss crushing him, but that weight was swiftly replaced by a looming terror. A beastman, grotesque and snarling, raised its weapon high, ready to deliver the fatal blow. Just then, everything dissolved into a void of blackness, and a voice coiled around Rufia's heart like cold steel. "Spill blood in my name, I will grant the strength you need to defeat your foes." It beckoned. Another presence broke through the darkness, turning everything white, pure as the light of the stars, blinding Rufia. The presence touched him, a soft and caressing hand stroking down his cheek. "Believe in yourself." The phrase wrapped around him like a lifeline, drawing him back from the edge. His eyes snapped open, and he bolted upright and disoriented. The dawn had yet to break, so he slipped from his bed, driven by a will he could not name. Without a moment's hesitation, Rufia went to the training grounds. He began to practice with his sword against the straw-stuffed dummy, channeling his turmoil into each swing. With every strike, he released fragments of his dream, the fear fading as adrenaline surged through him. Hours slipped away unnoticed. The sun crested the horizon, casting amber rays that bathed the training ground in warmth. Barden's voice floated through the morning air, distinct and mild, as he called out to Rufia. "Is everything all right?" Concern laced his words. Rufia paused, panting, his body glistening with sweat. "Yes, I just couldn't sleep and decided to train early," Rufia replied, breathless yet determined. Barden observed the destruction left in the wake of Rufia's ferocity. The dummy had been reduced to little more than a pile of torn fabric and splintered straw. "You did more than that. You destroyed the dummy. Go take a breather and join us after," Barden said, tossing a leather water bottle in Rufia's direction. The gesture came with a sidelong look of admiration intertwined with concern. As Barden walked away, Vincent approached him. "So, what was he doing here so early?" he asked, curiosity flickering in his eyes. "He was training, but I think there's more to it," Barden replied, his brow furrowed with thought. Vincent contemplated for a moment, then suggested that Barden should focus on Rufia today. There was something important lingering beneath the surface of Rufia's mind, and perhaps time spent together would illuminate it. As the sun continued its ascent, Vincent led the group through drills and evaluations, enhancing their techniques while keeping a keen eye on the pair. To his surprise, Barden and Rufia's sparring session was unlike the simple practice. Despite losing several times in a row, Rufia did not yield. He took every loss as a learning lesson. But in this round each strike resonated with raw determination. Barden's defensive stance started wavering under the relentless assault. The gap was closing, the intensity of their duel stole his breath. But soon, Vincent noticed something deeper at play. Rufier's eyes, once filled with fiery determination, now flickered with exhaustion. His body moved almost instinctively, a vessel carrying his will. The words spilled from his lips on murmured breaths, "I will protect them." Vincent could see the struggle etched in Rufier's posture, the ferocity of his strikes now fueled by sheer spirit, refusing to yield. The duel culminated in a surprising moment when, in an explosion of wool, Rufier managed to win a round against Barden. His face lit up with a soft smile, a fleeting glimpse of triumph before exhaustion took hold. He collapsed to the ground, chest heaving, yet the relief of overcoming that wall clung to him like a second skin. Barden stood over him, a mix of amazement and concern clear on his face. "You're stronger than I thought," he said, kneeling beside him. "But remember, you must believe in yourself." Echoing those mysterious words from Rufier's dream. "While your spirit is commendable, you just need one wrong step and it will lead you to ruin. Go get some rest, we will continue tomorrow." Rufier nodded, acknowledging his flaws with a hint frustration. After the training, Vincent noticed nothing but fatigue etched in everyone's faces. As he turned to Barden, he raised an eyebrow. Barden's hands trembled. "What's wrong?" Vincent asked, concern lacing his voice. With a pained expression, Barden replied, "I don't feel my arms."